What's up, everyone? Welcome to the GameOverGreggy show. This is a little weird, isn't it? It's a little weird because, first of all, Greg's not here. It's the first episode. It's episode 48. The first episode, Greg's never been here for a show. But it's still called the GameOverGreggy show. I imagine this would be what it'd be like if, like, say, Sally Jesse Raphael, had a guest host or something like that. Is that too old of a reference?
Yeah, I don't even know what that's really.
Is that too old of a reference?
I'm with you.
Okay, you understand what I'm saying. The red glasses. Donahue. Is that a little too old? That's probably a little too old too.
Yeah.
No, these are good.
So the GameOverGreggy show is, I'm not gonna try to be Greg today. I'm not gonna tap on the table. I'm not gonna be really loud. And you can just tweet at him at GameOverGreggy and tell him why isn't he here? Why did he abandon us? Why doesn't he love us anymore? Why doesn't he love you anymore?
I thought he was coming back.
All those guys. He'll be back next week. He's in Columbia, Missouri. Him and Steimer have gone for vacation. Obviously, that's where Mizzou is, his beloved Mizzou. He's seeing some football games, some old friends, and things of this nature.
Antlers.
Now, I'm very excited, first of all, about our special guest. But before we do that, before we get there, let's introduce the seducer/producer. Is that right, Nick? Or is it the seducer/producer?
It's the producer/producer.
So it's
no,
it's producer. You're the producer and the producer.
You know what's funny on that? I got tied up on whether it was a / or backslash because we haven't decided yet, and I was like, and I totally screwed up my own moniker. It is the producer/seducer.
So
Scarpino.
alphabetical,
Hey,
alphabetical. Nick Scarpino.
It rolls off the tongue.
The pure one, Tim Gettys.
Let Tim host.
And the illustrious, the famous, the beautiful,
The cantankerous.
the cantanker. Oh,
What's that even mean?
That means I'm like crotchety and
That's
grumpy.
true.
He's not crotchety.
You're not. I just thought that meant like
Cantankerous
cool.
sounds cool though.
It does sound cool.
It's not a
Dameon Hatfield.
David
What's up,
Hatfield.
everybody? What's up, everybody?
Hey.
I'm very excited that Damon's here. It's gonna be a great episode, with or without Greg. Greg, why did you leave us? So on the GameOverGreggy show, we have 4 topics, 4 sometimes 5 best friends. I think Greg says.
Yeah.
Sometimes come to this black IKEA table. He slams it at some point. Then and you almost knocked the slime bourbon, the rare bourbon slime, worth 9,000 experience points, but no gold. You get no gold, only experience points if you beat him. And we discuss various topics here. Of course, you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/kindafunny. You can buy the podcast at Bandcamp. It's still GameOverGreggy.bandcamp.com?
At kindafunny.com.
Kindafunny.com. You can find everything at
audio
Kindafunny.
or video.
I'm sorry, I'm not good at this. I've never hosted this before. This is like for people out there that have been watching this for a long time, this is like Podcast Beyond, where it just goes completely off the rails. Where Ryan Clements and I, back in the day, you should just have to pretend that it was a completely different series. We used to call it the Fireside Chats. We did 5 of them because I can't be Greg. Tim, I can't be Greg. And of course, you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/kindafunny.
Yes.
And we appreciate all of your support. Thank you very much. One of our new shows is coming very soon. We're very excited to show it to you. So let's get right into it, shall we? Let's not do this 20 or 30 minute rolling start that we usually do. I like that sometimes.
It's cold. You usually do a cold open.
We're doing a cold open because what we were talking about before the show was Punky Brewster. First we were talking about Salil Moonfry. Then we were talking about Punky Brewster. Then we were talking about our friend Sherry Johnson.
These are all made up people.
And
all of this
You
is
missed
made
the part
up.
when we were talking about Salil Moonfry's boobs.
Yeah, and
We were
Salil
talking about
Moonfry,
that too.
specifically what she looks like today.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen her, but she doesn't look like she used to look.
80%
That's usually
chance
what
of
happens.
She's a good-looking woman. She's a good-looking woman.
Yeah,
She
she's
grew
very
up to
attractive
be a very, very attractive
Very attractive woman.
It's very true.
And I was just saying that I remember her in the early 2000s in some skateboarding ad that she did, and I was like, "That's Punky Brewster."
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's her.
I didn't know Punky Brewster even existed. Like, I thought she kind of just disappeared off the face of the planet when she was 12 years old, but she's still out there.
How old was she supposed to be when she was on Punky Brewster?
I don't know.
Like
10, 11, 12, something like that, maybe. Well, she wasn't like a
she
teenager.
looks
was she?
young. You saw the photo.
Yeah.
She looked younger
She
than
looked
that, right?
young.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
maybe
I'm
younger
just
than
trying
that.
to think of that young girl on a skateboard, like in a skateboarding ad. That looks weird to me. I'm trying to picture that.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know.
It was the 90s.
It was
at that point.
No, well,
Well, this
yeah.
was the 2000s. This was when she was an adult.
Oh.
Yeah, she was,
So
yeah,
for an
She was in
adult.
a skateboarding ad when she was an adult.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. She was like that's what I'm saying. She was when I used to watch Punky Brewster when I was a kid. Then that character and that actress disappeared forever. And then I was at a skate shop in New York that doesn't exist anymore called New School, and there was a poster. I think it was for Foundation or one of these skate companies. And there was a picture of her, and I was like, "Who's that?" And someone was like, "That's Punky Brewster," and I was like, "No way, it's not Punky Brewster," but it was. And she was like 20, and she was like 20 something, and she was like at some point 20 something years old. Anyway,
I love how you just said, we're not doing the bullshit where we talk for... No,
but we did it anyway. Daemon Hatfield, what's your topic?
This one is a Thai root original.
Oh, okay. This is gonna be good.
Yeah.
Because Ty Root's mind works in mysterious.
He's a demented
and
individual.
weird ways.
He posed this to my girlfriend and I a few weeks ago, and now she's obsessed with this question. She asks everyone that we meet up with. But so here's the question: you have the ability to teleport.
I like
You
it.
can teleport anywhere in the world. However, every time you teleport, you gain 2 pounds, 2 pounds that cannot be lost. Like you'll never
Ever.
lose those 2 pounds.
Can I lose the other 2 pounds?
Yes,
like
you
the
could,
other
like-
100 and some odd thousand pounds that I already
so
have
like
on me?
if you weighed 200 pounds, you teleported, you weigh 102 pounds, you could technically lose all the other weight, but you'd still weigh 2 pounds.
So no matter what, I'm going to weigh 2 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the question is, how often would you use it? Where would you go? What would you use it for?
See, that's a hard one because my mind immediately goes, use it instead of booking those Thanksgiving flights. But I tend to gain about 10 pounds at Thanksgiving
Right.
no matter what.
So now you're gonna gain 12.
Due to the fact that my mother not only cooks the traditional American Thanksgiving, but also does an Italian Thanksgiving, which doesn't make any sense because the Italians don't, as you know, Colin,
Yep.
don't celebrate
No, they
Thanksgiving.
certainly don't.
Kind of an American holiday. But my mom will not let that stop her. She still does a cheesecake, 2 pumpkin pies, and a lasagna,
Lasagna,
as
right?
well.
Oh, you got
Lasagna.
So I'm thinking I would do it for vacations because looking at vacation spots, like if I'm going to South America or someplace like Africa, those flights, despite being sometimes a day and a half, maybe like 30 hours to get to
Right.
these places, tend to be insanely expensive.
Wait,
too.
hold on a second. Vacation spots like Africa.
Well, you know my wife. My concept of vacation spot
people go
is
on
sitting on my
safari.
couch.
Yeah, that's
No,
cool.
yeah, Nick and his wife going on safari.
Oh no, my wife's like, let's go look at big cats, and I was like, let's go to the vet. Like we can just
There's a cat cafe that just opened in Oakland.
Yeah, we can just
We
go
can
right
go
over
over
there.
there.
Really?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, cool.
They're
Very,
opening
very
one,
Japanese.
They're opening one here in Hayes Valley too.
Oh, interesting.
What does that consist of?
Well, it's a cat cafe.
Yeah.
So I've been to several in Tokyo, but it's basically they have like 50 cats and they serve coffee and tea, and then it's about $10 an hour to just hang out with the cats. And then you can
I love people so much.
Well, you love Japanese people.
Yes.
And then if you buy treats, you can like pay a couple dollars to get treats, and then the cats really want to be your friend if you have the treats.
Oh my God. So,
You're
is this a
using the
Japanese
word-
thing?
You're using
Even
the word
here?
cat to mean cat, right? Well, this is not a euphemism for something else.
No, you sick. And
No, I just didn't know if this
Yeah,
was like
these are
the
real
cat
cats.
club is where you go to like, it's like a strip club or something like that.
No,
this
these
is a
are-
legitimate feline animal that's
Yep.
sitting next to you.
Yep.
And you pay $10 to hang out with it.
Yep.
You can
But
probably
is this
buy
a Japanese thing though in America?
Yeah. So now they're starting to open them here in America.
Are you going to show us this?
Yes.
Is it going to be? Well, I don't even know what this is going to be.
It's
My
gonna
mind
be-
goes to pornographic,
gonna be
but
great.
I can't figure out
Well,
how to
that's-
make it.
your mind
pornographic.
often goes there, regardless.
That's very true.
Yeah, I know. Wait, where's me? It may take me a second to,
All right.
to find
so
the
yeah,
video.
but researching flights. If you look at flights to anywhere, because you have to remember the United States, not a small continent. So even to get to the other side of it is an expensive, very long, very most likely unpleasant experience. So multiply that by like 3 to get to Europe or 2 to get to Europe, and then with layovers, stop offs. If you're trying to go anywhere in Southeast Asia or any of those places, you're looking at a very long, hard trip.
It's arduous.
To get someplace. A very arduous trip. So I would definitely, I think my wife and I would probably once a year stomach the 2 pounds just to be able to instantly. Wait, is that both ways?
Yes, every time
Oh,
you
so
try,
it's
every
4
time you travel.
pounds.
I couldn't find the video, by the way. Yeah, so the return trip, you're getting 4 pounds. Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's rough, man. You got to use this a few times. You got to only use it a few times.
But I'm saying, like Colin, you could be in Tokyo
Yep.
instantly.
You could be. I mean, I've done the Tokyo trip twice. The flight's not as bad. It's much worse going to Europe from here than it is, I think, to Japan. Especially because you have to stop at London or whatever, whatever it is. I don't know. I feel like, here's the thing is I'm like 15 or 20 pounds overweight, mostly in the gut and the ass and the thighs area. So that's going to buy me about 5 trips.
That's exactly what I'm thinking too. Is
Yeah.
that 15 to 20? I'm like, I can get rid of that if I had to.
And then it's like, where would I want to go? I'd want to go somewhere like exotic and random. Like if I can teleport instantaneously in my mind, I'd be like, well, I'm going to dress warm. I'm going to the North Pole. Because it's just to go. And then I'm coming back. Because I can say, I went to the North Pole. I was there. You weren't there.
It's chill with
You're
Sam.
never going to go. It's
What
literally
up?
never going to go.
Yeah.
Unless you're some sort of fucking adventurer with a pack of wolves, bring a sleigh with you, at the right time of year. No, I just went. I just teleported and I came back. 4 pounds, whatever. That's pretty cool. I don't know if I'd go to a conventional place, though, because I could never justify in my mind I'm going to be obsessed for the rest of my life. I can't get rid of these 4 pounds because I teleported to Dubai or something like that.
See, you think you would limit yourself and you say, I'd only use it for this and this. But then, God forbid, a family emergency happens at home, right? And then you can be home. You can be there immediately.
Yeah, it's to say like a loved one has a few hours to live or something like that. Yeah, then that's an emergency. Yeah, so maybe just having maybe that's the only way you use it. It's just in an emergency.
See,
but I know I'm so profoundly lazy, Nick.
Yeah, that's the
that
problem,
like
Colin.
I'm gonna be like literally 700.
Taco Bell.
You and I
I'm
know
gonna
each
get
other
there.
very, very, very well. This is how lazy I am. I buy probably almost every meal at this point because I just am too damn lazy to cook. So I can't even imagine having that at my disposal. Like, I'm talking like take the trash out. That's how lazy I would get.
Like, I'll just
Where
do
it's
it
like,
this one time.
It's
I'll
just like
teleport to the curb.
No, because I'd have to teleport from the couch to the trash and then from the trash to the...
You're gonna get 8 pounds.
Yeah, an 8-pound endeavor.
Because, they have this... God bless, when you live with your significant other, they just constantly want you to do things. That whatever you're doing, they just want you to be doing something else, if that makes sense. So inevitably...
Even
I'm
if
gonna,
it's having sex with them.
oh, yeah. They'll be like, could you go get my Cosmo? Can you get my magazine real quick? I'm like, am I not doing this right? And she's like,
No, there's like 18
You're
tips
never
on
doing this
hot
right.
new sex. You need to
yeah, but
figure
she
those out.
immediately flips
Get the
to,
ice
like,
cubes.
the newest nail selection of like colors. But yeah, I could just imagine coming home one day after a long day of work because we record this podcast pretty late. It's pretty late tonight. I get home. I'm
3:30 in the morning.
It is. It's like, how are we even awake?
We didn't know what we were doing without Greg.
It's so crazy.
I know, it took us 4 hours just to figure out Greg wasn't here.
We were just waiting on him.
The man doesn't take up an inconsiderate amount of space. Yeah, so I think I'd come home one day and she'd be like, "Can you just take the trash out?" And I would snap and just use it 15 times in a row and be like, "Now look what you've done. Now look."
And you'll
at
be
me."
60 pounds heavier.
Just
30 pounds, I guess, because it's not the
she just
return
sees
trip
you
necessarily.
getting fatter.
Where are you even going? To the next room and back.
It's like you turn on Goose's glute before our very eyes.
Yeah, I feel like
Willy Wonka, what?
the emergency uses would be the most. Like you're about to get hit by a bus, teleport away, gain 2 pounds.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're in like like an accident's about to happen or something.
And you'd just be like,
Oh yeah, what if you're on a plane and it started going down? You'd be
Ooh.
like, well, later.
Y'all-
People would think it was the rapture.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, the pilot was taken too, I guess."
Yeah.
'Cause this young man, where everyone else is a sinner.
Yeah.
No, they'd know me. They'd be like, "No, there's no way. There's something else happened. This guy can clearly teleport."
People would find out too, right? Is it a secret necessarily? You'd probably be a big deal. You'd be like, I can teleport anywhere, but I gain 2 pounds every time I do it. I think the idea is
smart.
It'd be a news story every time you teleport. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
he did it again.
What would your name be though? You'd have to have a cool like superhero name. Teleporter.
What? That's really cool.
That's cool.
Like
Yeah.
teleport or not teleport. Tim, what would your superhero name be if you were a teleporter?
Well, see, it has to include the fact that you gain weight.
Obese teleportation, man.
That's
Very
good.
literal. Very literal.
Yeah.
How about teleporker?
Yeah. There you go. Perfect.
That's good.
Nailed it.
That's it. That's what it's
There is
I
no
want
other
to do
answer.
that. If I had that name, I would.
I think I earned it.
Yeah, I would just jump up a bit and
Jump
just
in.
be like, "Fuck it, I'm teleporting all the time."
Do you need
I'm
more
the damn
ice?
teleporter.
No, I'm
But that's the other thing too is like if you had that ability, you would probably transcend cool. So would you need to necessarily worry about your appearance, especially as a guy? Like you'd be able to teleport in and out of banks, steal money, right? Like that one movie that I can't think about right now. Jumper. Thank
Oh,
you.
there's all sorts
Yeah,
of
it's
weird
like-
shit you can do.
Yeah.
And you could just get lipo every single time you do it. You just schedule lipo every Monday. You just go in there and get those 2 pounds sucked out.
But
of
is
your
there
butt.
No,
no
you
way?
can't
I
do
mean,
that.
it's so they're like the 2 pounds.
It'd be a different 2 pounds that you could have sucked out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm just getting the.
I mean,
I
if
got
you
a
did
good
that,
20
you
pounds
could
on me right
maintain,
now. I could
right?
suck it. Yeah.
You're just always taking a different 2 pounds away.
But I feel like you have like some pounds. Not all pounds are created equal. You know, I feel like there's some pounds you need. Like
Yeah, but we had.
you can't just
like,
get rid of it because
I'll
then
put it-
eventually the pounds that you're
pounds are-
gaining, the rest of your pounds are like bones and shit. You know what I mean? You can't get rid of those pounds.
The pounds are separate but equal.
What?
This is an interesting question.
I think as I got older, I'd be more and more willing to use it. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you have more
Give
of a,
less of a fuck.
Yeah, your body's just falling apart, and you're like, whatever, another 2 pounds, throw 'em on. I'm going to Germany.
Yeah.
Can you take someone with you, like Jumper, where you hold on to them and they go with you?
I don't think that's how it works.
See, that's
No,
that's
I
a
probably
big
wouldn't
issue
use
they
it as
they
much
would
then.
always be gaining it too.
Yeah, that's fine.
because I'm just
Do I get
really.
to choose where they gain it?
No, that's not how it
Oh,
works.
okay. Well, then
unfortunately.
I don't know. This is not all it's cracked up to be.
I have
That-
this
that would be
situation going
amazing.
on right now where I get to fly for free, and it's awesome. But it's not so awesome because only I get to fly for free, and I can't bring anyone.
Why
with
do you
me.
get to fly for free?
Long story that I don't want to say on the show.
He's
But it's cool.
He's sleeping with the flight attendant.
But it sucks not being able to bring people. And I'm just like, well, shit, this becomes kind of useless now. So the whole teleporting thing, I don't think I'd be using it for like, vacation stuff. It'd be more for like business. Like bank robbery. And
Yeah,
stuff.
bank robbery.
Yeah.
By business, you mean crime. You just straight
What's
up
interesting about this
homicide.
story is that at first glance, it's very simple, but it becomes much deeper. deeper
That's
ever
it's
yet.
the genius of Tyroot.
Oh God, it's simplicity at its most
Well,
complex.
see, that's the thing. Is I would love to hear Ty Root's answer because he is a beautiful man.
Yeah.
And I can see
No
2
way.
pounds
No
ruining
way.
him.
No way Ty Root's doing that. The man has abs like they look literally like this table.
His
That's how
abs
hard
have
they are.
abs.
His abs have abs. His abs have veins that I didn't know. I'm like, did you get those put in? Like those aren't real. Like no one has veins.
That veins
down
in the
there.
wrong place.
Like every time he'll turn like like to catch a football or something with his shirt off, and I'm just like, you just
Footballs are just constantly being thrown at Ty Root.
when you're
And
shirtless,
he's catching him. And he's
when
catching him.
you look that good shirtless, you're just getting footballs thrown at
So,
you
so
constantly.
they're like, you want me to throw this football at you, right?
Yeah. Hey, shirtless guy, here's a football. Yeah, thanks, man. I needed it. What the hell are we talking about?
I don't know.
Oh, Ty. No way he's gonna do it. No way. Ty is just he's like
He won't take any extra weight.
I don't think he would. Because also it's Ty. Like he's just one of those guys that you'll be like, Ty, I'm going to freaking Thailand or something. He'll be like, all right, man, have fun, and he just shows up, and you have no idea how he got there. He's like, oh man,
Maybe he's had this, and maybe he loses 2 pounds every time.
Oh, that's
He's trying to
probably
throw us
why.
off his trail right now.
That's probably why. Yeah, that's exactly right. I don't know.
Very complex.
Figured out Ty Root.
It's very complex. Very complex.
What do you think? What can we answer for Greg? Do you think we could answer?
Great. Team Fat, are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
you would
Greg
like,
would
yeah,
do it.
bring him on, right?
Greg would do it as an excuse for why he's losing all this weight and slowly not becoming team fat anymore.
He's
you know,
not.
he's
a quitter.
yeah. We have some strife between he and I right now because he's ordering salads and eating only one portion of food.
Do you think that's is it?
Colin, who ordered? What did you order? You ordered the chicken sandwich combo meal at Burger King and a Whopper also.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm dedicated. I'll work out really hard in the morning. That's the only reason. Like when I went to the doctor last week or a couple weeks ago, they weighed me and they're like, "You're 10 pounds lighter than you were last year." And they're like, "Did you? Are you eating better?" And I'm like, "No, I'm eating just as bad as I always did." And they're like, "You're exercising?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm exercising really hard in the morning."
It's good.
And they're like, "Yeah, you're 10 pounds lighter." I'm like, "Sweet." So I can have my cake and eat it too, literally,
Damn.
literally.
It's good for you.
But as far as Greg, I don't know. I feel like he could use it as a crutch to rejoin, get out of the minor league with Team Fat, come back and be our cleanup hitter like he used to be. Or he's so proud of his new physique because everyone's telling him how skinny he is all the time that maybe he's reluctant. Plus, Greg doesn't like to travel. Greg travels, but he doesn't really like to travel. He won't go international anymore. When he went to Japan, he went for fun last year, and that was the first time he went overseas in like years. If you pay attention at IGN, he doesn't go on any international trips.
Yeah.
So I think he's the least susceptible of all of us to use it,
Might be true.
which is interesting.
I would. Yeah, I'd agree. I think should we call him, or is that cheating?
No, don't call him. Well, maybe we'll call him for another topic. I don't want to waste it on this
know.
topic necessarily. If we feel like we can get a better answer out of him later, if you don't feel that way, then you call him right now.
All right.
It's a risk.
I think we
It's
get-
risk reward.
I think
it's
we
based
got-
not on the quality of the topic, but the number of
I
topics.
feel
that still
bad
have to
because he's
come up.
on like a vacation of some sort, right? The man never takes any time off. I don't even know what.
Yeah,
the
but
hell
I
he's
call
doing in
Greg and
Missouri.
bother him all the time.
That's true, but I don't want to bother him with work. I mean, you get anxiety about this sort of thing, you know.
It's a lot to think about.
It's a lot to unpack.
A lot to unpack. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that saying. Been hearing that a lot lately.
You know what?
Lots to unpack.
You started it in my brain.
Yeah.
Most of the sayings, like, oh my god, if I keep talking, I'll think of the other thing I say. I vacillate a lot.
Oh, vacillate.
That's a really good word,
An
yeah.
essential
And my wife
word
was
in my
like,
vocabulary.
where did you get the term vacillate from? And I was like, sometimes I want to do this, but I don't want to do the other thing. I vacillate a lot. And she's like, you vacillate a lot. And she's like this close from asking me to spell it, and I won't be able to.
There are certain words that are Colin Moriarty words. Myriad is another one.
Yeah.
Now, I can't take too much credit for me. This goes so far back, as you might know. Myriad was originally a Mark Ryan word that I co-opted because we used to talk about, is it a myriad of... Because you can use it in two different ways. You can say, like, I have a myriad of books on my shelf. Or you can say, I have myriad books on my shelf.
That sounds.
And that's...
Are
that's
they both right? Or are
they're both right.
Okay.
And that's how the word became... Like, we used to use it as a joke, and then I just actually started using it every day.
That second one sounds like bullshit.
The second one?
The
No,
second one
I have
sounds
myriad...
More
I have,
correct to me.
Really?
I have myriad things. I have myriad.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting... So
yeah.
I can take credit for that, but it's not really my word.
It's a good word.
It's a great word.
One could just use variety, but you like myriad.
Plethora.
Plethora is a good word.
Well, yeah.
When I write a lot, I use a few words to describe a lot of things. Deluge.
Deluge, great word.
Why-
Litany.
Why are you pronouncing? Isn't it deluge?
I don't know. I just say deluge.
Okay.
It's Colin, by the
Niche.
way.
Or I say niche, and everyone's like, it's niche. Like,
No.
Niche,
Colin
niche.
has a
Yeah, we say
special.
the Europeans say niche.
Yeah. But I'm not. I'm no
Technically,
European.
both are fine.
I say niche. I don't say
that's
niche.
good.
There's no accent egu on the E though. That's not something.
Yeah, but like Nick Lachey. I like
Niche.
him.
I like to say niche just to pitch people off like there's a T in there somewhere.
just to pitch people.
I think
Well, that's what
a lot of people.
That's
say
what
niche.
a lot of Americans say.
Yeah.
They're niche.
I have noticed though, Colin, that you, and I don't know that you do it on purpose, but I think there is a certain style to the way you mispronounce things sometimes.
Like
that is
like Mario or
there's like you don't say thanks, you say thanks sometimes, and I see in your eye that you know you're doing it. Well, it's happening.
People have said
Sometimes
that I
just
say
to piss Greg off.
thanks. I mean, there's what's the one word where people commented on it. I can't remember what it is. Where it might be a th word where like people are like, you're not even remotely saying that right, and it's like an everyday word. I'm like, that's just the way I say it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Maybe that's
What's funny
You've
is
never been to Long Island. You don't know how we talk. No one's been
sometimes
there.
you say things, and I'm like, no one says it like that. It's and I'm not saying this is an insult. It is you like some words and the way you pronounce certain words are just uniquely unique to you. They're just so Colin. And the more I get to know you as the years go on, the more I'm just like, I need a thing like that.
Nick, are you kidding me? You have a million things like that.
No, I need that. I need
You
to
have
be
your
able to
own
pronounce.
vocabulary. Like
I do.
there's people who can say things you say, and it's like Nick, instantly.
Yeah.
So much like skadoosh.
Yeah, I love skadoosh.
It's like, oh, that's Kung Fu Panda. No, it's not. It's Nick Scarpino.
yeah, I stole it from Kung Fu Panda.
Skosh.
Scoshy. Yeah, little Skosh.
When I met your brother and he said that shit, I was like, oh my god. I didn't even know him. I wasn't even introduced to him yet, and he said that, and I was like, oh, you're a Scarpino.
You literally walked in. You were at Comic-Con, right?
Yep. No,
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
at E3.
And E3.
That's what it was, yeah. And you're like,
I hadn't been introduced to him yet, and he said it.
that was the funniest thing. He's like, I met your brother, I think. And I'm like, how did you know my brother? He's like, he said, Skosh. Can you move over a Skosh? And he must be Nick Scarpino's brother. It was very true.
Yeah.
He's a Patreon subscriber.
Oh, God bless him.
Yeah, he's an awesome.
He's a good man.
an
Very
awesome
nice
guy.
man. Very nice man.
One thing I picked up from you, Colin, was saying like I haven't done X in a minute. Like, oh man, I haven't heard this song in a minute.
Yeah, that's just
That's just
that's just how I do it.
I got that from you.
That's just how I do it.
The thing I got from you is the
That started as a joke too, and I actually started doing that, and everyone's like, "Why are you doing that?"
That's a very Japanese thing.
Yeah, it is. It is a very Japanese
To
thing.
acknowledge that you're listening to someone that.
Yeah, like there's certain guys like I love Hideo Baba, who's a like an OG at Bandai Namco. He directs all the Tales games, and he does that, and it makes it seem really like he's very engaged. He really is like super engaged in what you're saying. And it makes you feel good when you're talking to him. You know, because I think he understands English, but I think like some Japanese people that understand English can speak a little bit, but they're embarrassed to speak it, but they can still understand it, and then they'll just speak to a translator.
Yeah.
I think Inafune is the same way, or a similar way, but. Yeah, I agree. I noticed that when I was there last time. I was like, yeah, it's very cool. They just have a lot more respect for everything over there than we do.
They're just the best.
They really are. They're fantastic.
the cats.
I've also started doing this one. Sometimes when my wife asks me to do something that I don't really want to do, I'll do the Colin. I mean, I guess I can do that.
I guess. Or you just say no. Like sometimes you're like, no, I don't think so.
Oh, actually, I do this. I have adopted this one from you, where I will just sometimes I know I'm gonna say yes to this thing eventually. In my brain, I'm like, you're gonna say yes to this, but I want to be outwardly like I want it to be known that I don't want to do this thing, and I've adopted your way of saying it. No, absolutely not, absolutely not. Like, there's no question in my brain this is happening. It's pretty awesome.
All right. Well, that was a good topic. Thank you, Daemon, for batting leadoff on this episode of the GameOverGreggy Show. Nick,
Yes.
you're up. Am I correct, Tim?
Yes, you're correct. I'm
is
really
awesome.
enjoying this.
Behind the curtain. Still not even sure what. I think I go after you, Nick.
Yeah,
you
I
go
think do.
next.
Thank you. Well, my question and my topics always come from Twitter. Remember, if you want a topic on the GameOverGreggy Show, please tweet at me, Nick_Scarpino, and sometimes I will read your topic, like at Matamur, Matamur. Did I say that?
MAT. What is it?
Matamur.
Matimer. Yeah,
Matimer?
Matimer.
Cool.
Yeah, something like that.
Ask this question: why do Americans hate Florida? As a Canadian, I've always wondered: do we hate Florida?
I love this topic. I don't personally hate Florida. Some people disparage it. Some people disparage the South a lot.
Yeah, but is that a thing though? America's hating Florida?
No, but we maybe like laugh at it because it just seems like a lot of crazy shit goes down in Florida.
Absolutely.
It's like the way a lot of crazy shit goes down in Russia. Like you just see all these crazy videos.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just kind of like that same sort of thing.
Just crazy Florida videos? Like
Yeah.
Well,
like
I mean,
what?
there's a 25 season Florida video called Cops. And
It's one video. That's 25 seasons.
I mean, think about it. Like Cops takes place everywhere, but
Yeah.
rarely in the north, and usually it seems like it's in Florida.
That makes sense.
And I always think so. Cops specifically is funny to me. I always talk about this because I think I spoke to someone in Europe about it once, or that was European here in the States. That like for a lot of people overseas that maybe aren't super familiar with the United States, maybe they consume our movies and our music and TV.
Mm-hmm.
But like in terms of like so-called reality TV, they see Cops and they think that that's what it's like.
That is kind of what it's like.
There are people that's just like the fucking like Cops is just a fucking Wild West. Like everyone's just beating the shit out of each other and stealing shit and running away.
Yeah.
It's like when you think about it in the context of overseas viewers, it's really fun because we know it's like, oh, that's just a backwater place or
bullshit,
some just a few people that they're making this whole place look bad. But overseas, where maybe they don't have that context, it's like, no, what these motherfuckers are crazy.
Yeah.
But think about our main exports as far as TV goes to other places. Like we have to export the things that translate best. That's why action movies do really well in countries that don't speak English because they're mostly predominantly action, right?
Explosions.
So yeah, you got Cops. You probably got the Kardashians because they're not saying anything really that anyone needs to listen to. That's it. I mean, those are the two shows.
Cops and Kardashians.
That's it.
We should make that show.
Cops and Kardashians.
Yeah.
Kardashian Cops.
Cops is
Oh my God, that's even better.
Cops is with the K.
Cops with the K.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like
Keystone Cops.
yeah.
So 38 moments that prove just how crazy Florida is.
Ooh.
So enraged wife stabs husband with ceramic squirrel because he didn't buy beer. Man who exposed himself tells police, I was just airing out my penis. Drunk Florida man tries to use taco as ID. Florida man accused of attacking girlfriend with banana. After lightning strike, snake bite, and monkey attacks, Florida man's gruesome shark bite is latest brush with death. So it goes on and
Okay.
on. It's just like this seems to happen a lot in Florida.
Yeah.
So people don't hate Florida. They're
It's
just
just-
like,
they're
why,
fucking
why is
crazy.
so many crazy things happening in this one state?
That's insane.
I've only been to Florida once. I went for a buddy's wedding, and it was during spring break. And having gone there and spent we were there for a while. We were there for about 4 days. Having been in Florida at the heat of spring break, there's nothing to hate about.
Yeah, no, I was there for
that's that
WrestleMania
place.
once, and it was at a good time, and there was just a lot of butts, a lot of
A lot
good
of butts. And they're very a lot of the women there and men, I should say, are not ashamed at all to show their bodies off, nor should they be. A lot of good looking people there. A lot of people that I'm not gonna. Where am I gonna go with that? I hate when you
just stop.
I hate when you look at me.
That was like,
You give me the eyebrow on that side so no one can see it. You're like, don't say what you're gonna say next. It's gonna ruin you forever. It's fair enough though.
man.
Yeah, there's no reason to hate Florida. Florida's awesome.
I mean, let's
Good weather.
unpack it, Nick, as we
we-
often say. Let's unpack it.
All right. Yeah.
no, absolutely not.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What are the good things about Florida? I've been to Florida many times. On the East, I'm from New York, so on the East Coast, it's easier to get to Florida. A lot of people go to Florida. I've been to Florida maybe 10 times, and I've always had a good time there. Disney World's in Florida, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And Universal.
Come on now.
No one hates Florida. Take
The
it back.
Keys are really nice. The beaches are awesome. If you go up, you can go to Tampa. Guess you can go to Tallahassee
got
or
Miami.
Jacksonville if you want.
St. Petersburg is
Jacksonville,
cool.
the home of Nate Ahern.
Yep.
It is a strange place because I'm saying like it's so like I really feel like maybe he's conflating Florida with just the South, and I always kind of was mystified by and a little perturbed by like how everyone seems to pick on the South all the time because it's just a little different down there, and maybe Florida is just so deep in the South, so very deep.
How deep?
Deeper than
How
Atlantis.
deep is it? That's a reference to an old. What was the there was. This is going so far back that no one's gonna know what I'm talking about. On Game Show Network, I used to watch a what the hell was it? It was like a show from the 70s where the host would say something and the crowd would say like,
It's like the Gong Show or something.
yeah, something like that, where like that was their thing, where they'd be like, she was so fat. How fat was she? There's like a big tradition. I don't know. Someone will know in the comments for sure. Absolutely, someone will know.
Tim, you just missed out on so much.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I don't know actually. Did I?
No, you didn't.
No, because
I
you
know.
can get it all on Netflix right now if you want.
The reason I know so much about old like 60s, 70s, early 80s game shows specifically is I used to work as a landscaper in Boston, and I worked at a landscaper for like several
What
years.
did that consist of?
And mowing lawns and raking and snow removal and stuff. But when
Putting
it
down
was
sod.
putting down sod, yes, sod, planting bulbs sometimes, raking leaves. But when it was raining, we had like they had like an apartment, like an office that was an apartment, and everyone would just chill because like you can't really do any work. And we just watched the fucking Game Show Network all day. And I swear to God, I watched 500 hours of the Game Show Network when I over 2.5 years.
Did you watch a lot of Price is Right? Was that on the Game Show Network?
No, that's almost too new. Like this was like the newest thing they had on there was literally like Press Your Luck, which is like mid 80s. But most of it was like original Family Feud and
Family
and
Feud.
Password and like the $64,000 pyramid and all this like
Survey
random.
Oh
says-
man, yeah.
You're wrong. You're an
Dating
idiot.
game was the
The dating game, yeah, the newlywed game,
Yes.
but like the one from the 60s, like the really creepy one.
Where they had like you couldn't see the other person, or was it the
that-
dating game? That was the dating game, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Where it was
Well, yeah. The
and
newlyweds
Bachelor
you could
number
see each
one.
other. Yeah.
Okay.
And also, of course, Love Connection.
Newlyweds was one where they asked you questions about each other and see if
Yeah.
you can get them right. Like, what's his favorite color? What's his favorite?
We're gonna do that one day for us.
Yeah, we
were
should.
always talking about that.
That's
I'm
a really
gonna
funny
nail
idea.
all of
Yeah.
yours.
It's gonna be us two versus.
Oh,
them two.
they're gonna kill. They're gonna crush us.
Are you
These guys,
kidding me?
they basically live. They're the same person.
Yeah, I
Well-
know, but we just believe, you know.
That's true.
2016.
I'm a believer.
Scarpino Gettys.
I'll tell you this right
One
now.
love.
If you
Yes.
believe in love, happiness, and prosperity, if you believe in making sure that the world is not oppressed and monkeys, you should vote for Scarpino Gettys 2016.
I love all the orangutan pictures.
They're amazing.
Oh, they're awesome. Please keep those coming. Those make my day.
Their
You see the one
mascot's
that
an
someone-
orangutan named Cheetos.
It's not our mascot.
He's our head of
He's
state.
our head of state.
Head of state.
I'm thinking about maybe
He's your regent.
he might actually become the head of Secret Service. I'm not quite sure, or maybe the CIA. We're not. One
Okay,
or the other.
all three. He can
Did you
handle
see
it.
the one that someone composited him in, like photoshopped him in right between Greg and Colin? And it was like spot on. I was like, he should just be here. Where is he?
I don't know.
God damn it! You guys find and let us know. Tweet at us.
So I mean, what do you guys think?
Out
I mean, what do you guys think about this topic? Is it just overblown? Because like Daemon was saying, there is some serious shit going on in Florida.
But I'm pretty sure if you Googled crazy shit and then anywhere, there's gonna be a lot of really crazy stories. But that is a lot. Those are just kind of weird.
This
He
is
was
actually a
airing
thing.
out
It's
his
actually a
penis.
thing with Florida.
I would go on a limb and say that you can find crazier stories out of New York.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Because
But
New York's
people
got
like
like
they
or San Francisco.
Only in New York.
there's no like Big Apple in Florida. You know, like
That's true. That's true. It's not really a highly condensed population like New York is. It's not really fair. But San Francisco, I've seen some weird stuff here too. I remember my first beta
yeah.
breakers.
Well,
I
yeah,
was like,
there's some weird ass shit here.
yeah. And a lot of people don't like San Francisco because it's too damn liberal. Like when I first moved up here, I thought it was going to be a bunch of liberal
dude,
hippies.
There's something to
running
that.
around.
Like, I'm from Kansas,
Yeah.
so I was like always the liberal one in my family group of friends and stuff. But like now, when I moved out here, I started feeling kind of conservative. I was just
You're like, wow, these guys show me up.
yeah,
This is liberal got amok.
Yeah.
Right in San Francisco. Like San Francisco's a cool town, but it's got so many issues that it just brought upon itself. That's the thing that's really frustrating me.
And it continues to bring upon itself.
Yeah, it's just the city's kind of just like a mess. I mean, it's not even the liberalism. It's just the cartoon nature of it that was born out of the liberalism. Because there really is a cartoon component to San Francisco.
Hate Street,
I mean-
just in general.
Yeah, Hate Street's a cartoon.
Every other house is like painted some sort of cartoonish color anywhere you go. Because there's no rhyme or reason to it. God forbid you don't let someone paint their house with like fuchsia if they don't want, there's,
any
there's that building over there.
self-respecting suburb would have a neighborhood committee.
You'd have to you gotta have a homeowners
Yeah,
association. I mean, come on, people. This is conservatism at its best. Oh, God, I can't even get that word out. Conservatism.
At
Conservatism.
its best. What I do like about San Francisco's liberalism is that it shrieks on libertarian, which is what I am. And it is a very live and let live city. Like, unless you're really fucking with someone, they're not going to do anything to you. I mean, like, walking just down Hate Street for 5 blocks is evidence enough that you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Oh yeah, we can like right now if we wanted to just take all of our clothes off and go beg.
Yeah,
for
they're
money.
all airing out their penises.
and it's fine. We're just airing out our
That just
penises.
doesn't even make the news.
Yeah, literally everyone outside of Shady McDonald's is standing in hate.
Shady
airing
McDonald's.
out
That Shady
their-
McDonald's?
Yeah, that is Shady McDonald's.
Wait,
I have never walked in like in 7.5
What's
years
the
living
Shady
here,
McDonald's?
standing in hate.
And,
Yeah.
The one at the end of Hate.
Right where the park starts.
Yeah, there's a McDonald's there, and that is the shadiest location of all time.
That's so funny you say that. I think the one that's near IGN is the shadier McDonald's.
Oh no way.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, dude, because what's so San Francisco and shady about Shady McDonald's that's standing in hate is that in 7.5 years, I walked by the McDonald's scores of times. Never once, and I'm being serious, never once have I ever walked by there and not been offered weed or mushrooms
Yes,
or LSD. Ever.
I would say it's not shady McDonald's, it's drug deal McDonald's.
it's-
There's always drugs there.
Yeah.
Always.
Oh,
But,
there's so
like,
many drugs.
The other one near us is shadier. You run the risk of dying, getting shanked anytime you go to the one near IGN.
I only go there at lunch, so
I've never felt in
I'm
danger
I'm
at that
like,
McDonald's.
oh, it's bad.
Not that I go to that McDonald's very often.
I've only been to that McDonald's a handful of times, mostly after drinking. So my perception of the world around me is probably somewhat more cheery than it normally is. But I will say nothing compares to that shady Burger King we were at tonight.
Oh my god, that was
pretty shady.
That's a place, dude.
The shady what is that on 9th and Harris or Harrison? Is it Harris?
Harrison.
9th and Harrison. It's here's the combo. You've been here. I've driven you to this place.
Yes.
It's the Chevron / Burger King / Starbucks.
Yeah.
And it literally has more like vagrants outside of it than I have ever seen in my entire life outside of anything. And they're persistent. Like they will spot you inside. They will follow you as you walk, and because it's all glass, so they can just follow you.
Yeah.
And they can sort of wait for you to get your burger.
Get the gas,
then they
get
go
the
back,
burger, get the coffee.
You go back to get the coffee, and then they just like boom, they like get on you. Like I'd like some change.
Watch your phone.
I'd like some change.
Thanks. It's Gorilla Glass, but good looking out.
No, I just don't want you to.
Thank you. Well, I got this thing has to
Why
last
risk
me.
it?
Has to last me because I'm on the S generation. I'm like a bastard.
Done fucked up.
I did. What's sad is my wife's on the regular generation.
At least you're not on the C generation.
Are you?
Yeah, that's a bad generation to be
I
on.
just don't think anybody bought the 5C. That was the cheap one, the $99.
Yeah, the ones that look like gumdrops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
I don't know. Where do we want to leave it? Florida. Weird.
Great state.
Great state.
Great state.
Yeah, I like it.
Good
I like
football.
Florida.
Butts.
Apparently getting a bad
Great
rap.
looking people. You
And
know,
amazing
good
stories.
weather.
Those are good stories.
Yeah, it's good things
Some
going
of
on
my
in Florida.
good friends are from Florida, and they're great people.
If those kinds of things weren't happening, the world would be a much more boring place.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm so glad they're ours. Those people in Florida, they're all ours.
I mean, isn't that sort of
Sorry,
our-
Canada.
Sorry, yeah. Canada, you're all just
Sorry to let you down, buddy.
normal, nice people.
What was his name? Mr. Magoo or something like that?
Mr. Magoo.
Nope.
I don't think
That's what it was.
I wanted to be Mr. Magoo now. When
Thank
I
you
was
for
like,
the question, Mr.
Madame Maru. No, Matimer.
Madamaroo. I wish that was
That's cool.
Skidamarinky Dinky Dink. It
Oh
sounds
my
like
God.
it sounds like a lyric in that.
Did you ever watch any Mr. Magoo?
No.
I mean, I know that was
That's
before
the
our
blind
time.
guy?
Yeah, well, he's just old and he can't see very
Right,
well.
okay.
So shenanigans ensue because he can't
Yeah.
see that the telephone is not an ice cream cone and he's looking at.
Yeah, like how long can that shtick go on? How many seasons was that on?
I don't know, but this is like during the 60s.
So they really
They made a 90s movie out of it, too.
they did
They
with
did?
Leslie Nielsen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did like a live action Mr. Magoo.
Yeah.
This is foggy to me, but I
Leslie
think I
Nielsen
remember
did it.
that.
Which is so weird because he's so good. Maybe that was funny though.
Well, he did lots of.
What was the one with the vampire when he was the vampire? Dead and Loving It or
Dead
something?
and Loving It. Yes, it was. That's amazing that you remember that.
Yeah, I remember renting it.
Not a good movie. Also, just watch
just a huge fan.
Transylvania 65000. Not a good movie. If you've never
Yeah.
heard of it, don't
Is that Jeff
bother.
Goldblum?
Yes. And Ed Begley Jr.
Does Jeff Goldblum play Jeff Goldblum in it?
Yes. Jeff Goldblum plays Jeff Goldblum in everything.
That's the best part about Jeff Goldblum.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't like this.
Right, as viewers of
Jeff Goldblum.
the Game Over Greggy show know, my whole hypothesis is that Independence Day and Jurassic Park take place in the same universe, and the doctors and them are the same character. He plays the same fucking character.
I don't think you've ever brought that up on the show.
Really?
I definitely
heard
don't
that
think you
before.
have.
Oh no! So Independence Day.
That's an
So
awesome
Jeff Goldblum's
hypothesis.
character in Independence Day and in Jurassic Park, same person. I don't know how you can watch those movies and act like those are different characters.
He's
They're the same fucking character.
He survives
It's
both
Jeff
movies, right?
Goldblum. Yeah, he just riding both.
Yeah,
he
he-
was in the second Jurassic Park, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was like the main
I didn't
character.
see the second one.
No one
Same.
did.
I'm telling you, Doctor. What's his name? Doctor. No, Doctor Malcolm's the main
Kev,
character.
look that up and let us know.
Is Jurassic World going to be
Give you
good?
something.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I didn't see. My thing is, I loved Jurassic Park. That was one of those rare movies where I'm like, I got really into Michael Crichton for a while. I don't know why, but they had a string of movies that came out that was like Rising Sun, Jurassic Park.
What was one about the pandemic?
Or there was Congo.
There was Congo, which was the other one.
maybe
There was
that was-
Sphere, which was I think maybe the one you're thinking of.
Yeah.
But that's Michael Crichton also. They had these amazing like every year there was
He
a
was
Michael
good.
Crichton
He was a good writer.
movie that came out. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I love these movies. And it was one of the first times I'd ever read the book before seeing the movie, which actually made me not like Jurassic Park as much because the book's a little bit better. Just it's got more stuff to it. Then Jurassic Park 2 comes out, and I don't even think I saw it for some reason.
Oh, the Lost
Really?
World.
I never
right?
saw 2 or 3.
Yeah,
What?
I've caught parts of it, and every single time, you ever have that weird thing where like you've only seen something one time and only one part of it, but then every time it's on, it's that part of it.
Is it the part where the trailer?
The DM trailer thing's
Of course.
dropping, and then I
Yeah.
figured out finally, you know why? Because that takes up the entire second half of the movie. Like it is literally that trailer is falling off that cliff for a good 72 minutes.
Yeah.
which is
That scene it's very memorable though.
it's 'cause it's so
What was the
bad.
one? Was it the second one or the third one where the girl was like a gymnast?
That's the first. No, that's the second one.
Yeah, that
And
was.
she kicks the raptor?
Yeah, and she boosts the raptor in the head. Like does like the
Before they go to San Diego.
Oh, it's so dumb.
Yeah, the second one, I remember enjoying it because I was a little kid, and it was awesome. And then I remember seeing the third one being a little let down. And then recently, I got in a huge fight with my friend, and who's Kevin, and
Hey, Kev.
he was telling me, he's like, dude, the second one fucking sucked, and the third one was definitely better. I'm like, hell no. And so we were trying to rank them, and then I rewatched them all. I'm like, damn, you were so right. Like 3's not bad. 3's actually
Which
okay.
one is 3 the one where it actually hits the city? The
was
T-Rex.
2. That was 2.
See, that is my problem with 2. When does that happen? Is that
it.
before or after the trailer falls?
After the
72
trailer.
minutes?
The only thing I remember about
3's not bad.
I remember 2 things about 3. 3, I saw with I dated a girl for a long time in high school. We went to that together. That's all I remember about that movie. And the 3 was a scratch mark. That's what I remember. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I remember. I don't remember a goddamn thing about that movie. Not one thing. I don't know why.
There's a lot of pterodactyls in that one.
Who's in? Is it Pratt? Is he in Jurassic World?
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. That guy's on fire.
It is
right
Chris
now.
Pratt. Yeah, he's gonna be in every big movie for the next few years.
Yeah.
No, Kevin just said no. Kevin, what are you saying no to? Oh, okay. So, it was Dr. David Levinson in Independence Day.
Okay,
We're
yeah.
checking on to see if it's the same doctor.
It's
in
not.
Jurassic
It's definitely
Park.
not literally because they wanted to change the names, but it's obviously the same. thing.
Maybe he had to
We're
change his,
checking.
Oh,
his
yeah.
identity.
We're checking.
He
Check
got
into
into some
it.
trouble.
Check into it.
I will.
All right. That was a good topic.
That was a great.
I enjoyed
topic.
that topic. Now, Tim, it's my turn, right?
It is your turn.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not smart enough to keep up with.
I love
with
this.
these. All right. So my topic is this.
It's a complex show, by the way. You're doing a great job.
Thank
I
you.
want
I'm
you to
trying
know
my
that.
hardest. I'm
You're
really
doing a
giving it
great
all.
job.
I'm really giving my all.
You're a close, if not like you're like a really close second to Greg right now.
Thank you. I
in my
appreciate
eyes.
that. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Isn't it Dr. Ian Malcolm?
Ian Malcolm. Okay, so I was right. I thought Ian Malcolm was the older guy, but he is Ian Malcolm.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
It's the same. Thank you, Kevin. It's the same character. We all know that. So my topic is 90s music. Now we were talking a little bit about this earlier, Daemon and I. Now Daemon and I are both musicians and we're really into music, and we both have a soft spot for the 80s, but we also have a very soft spot for the 90s. And I was remarking that with 90s music, the fact that that's in vogue now and people are like, oh, I love the 90s. I'm like, wasn't the 90s like 2 days ago? And then I start to be like, I'm old. I'm really old now. It's 2014. It's almost 2015. The 90s were 15 years ago.
The end of the 90s.
Yeah,
was
the
15
end of
years
the
ago.
90s.
So it's
yeah.
like the 90s are 20 years ago.
Like
really.
the presidents of the
but some
United
of the
States
fashion
and all that. That was
some of the
20 years
best
ago.
stuff happened at the end of the 90s, man. I mean, you're talking like Clueless was late 90s.
Yeah.
No way.
No, Clueless was 95.
That's like
No,
that's
was
straight
it?
up mid 90s.
Okay, well, Can't Hardly Wait was like 98.
Yeah, that was 98.
Pokemon.
Pokemon was in the 90s.
Changed.
Pokemon was
Well, 95, 95,
98.
96.
That's
What are you
95.
talking about the movie?
Pokemon?
Which one are you talking about? The game didn't come out in 98.
Yeah.
It came
In
out here in
America,
98.
98.
Oh, really? I just thought it was earlier than that. Sorry.
November 98.
So, like, what are your... Like, I guess I just want to talk about... Because I really love 90s alt-rock and, like, you know, obviously rap rock and all that kind of stuff. But I just feel like with a lot of different genres, there's good stuff happening. Hip-hop, like, a lot of really excellent stuff. So, like, what are your remembrances of 90s music, and what are some of your favorite bands and songs? Maybe some of your least favorite band songs. I also think some of the worst music comes from the 90s, i.e. the Macarena or something like that.
Sure.
Was Linkin Park... I'm pretty sure they were 2000.
It was Hybrid Theory was 2000s.
Oh, man.
But
So close.
Limp Bizkit was coming up in 311.
Yeah.
That was all 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Significant Other.
When was
99.
Oasis?
That's
Oasis
the
was
90s, for
90s?
sure.
Yeah,
For
94.
sure.
Okay.
They were
I'm
great.
a fan of the 90s.
Oh, man.
90s had like the...
Wonderwall, that was
was
such
a
a
jam.
song.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
that
song.
people don't remember the 90s as fun. Like people in our generation, Tim, because you were like 40 years behind us. I don't think when you start thinking back of it, on it, like on a first glance, I'm like, the 90s was not the best decade I've lived through. The 80s was awesome. Yes. So much cool stuff happening in the 80s. Like, you know, TV started reigning supreme. All this stuff happened. Big blockbuster movies, they have and all that stuff. Then you think the 90s was like in a dry spell, kind of. And then you start really digging into it, and there was like a lot of great stuff that happened in the 90s.
For sure.
A lot of great stuff.
For sure.
Let's dig into that. Let's
The 90s is amazing.
unpack
Let's
that.
unpack
Yeah, let's
it.
unpack.
Can we unpack that?
Yeah, we can. Absolutely.
First of all, Colin, like it's no secret who your favorite band is.
Yeah, 311's my favorite.
311.
And they come. I mean, so they. I mean, they were.
We have to sing a 311 song every time Colin says it.
They were.
And I don't know any. So I just say this.
Beautiful Disaster.
Beautiful disaster.
I don't even know that one.
No one
That's
does.
from Transistor, track 4. So they were technically founded in 1988, but like they are a 90s band for sure.
I
mean,
just
they came
like
to
that they're a
prominence in-
career band. Like they're still going today. Like they've made like this is their
Same
career.
lineup.
They have their niche. They have their thing they
Niche.
do. Like
Niche.
Yeah, they tour twice a year, like
Yeah.
every year. Like they sell out
Like-
those tours.
Yeah, I remember seeing them. They came to Irvine in like 2002, and I was like, "Damn, they are still going." Because at that point, I thought they were kind of long in the tooth, but I guess they're still.
Yeah, they're
like,
still
what are they
doing
like
their thing.
70 now?
not many bands
They're like
last
in their
25 years.
Yeah, they're like in their mid 40s. I mean, their guitarist joined, like replaced their other guitarist in like 1989, and they've been in the same.
I thought you were gonna say their guitarist replaced
Same
his
lineup.
hip.
I just love that they're the same lineup because it's not the same. It's like Alice in Chains like toured for a while. Let's talk about 90s bands.
I mean,
Alice
yeah.
in Chains is awesome, but like Lane Staley died, and then they just replaced the singer. Now, Jerry Cantrell can sing, and actually, like, a lot of people don't realize that in a lot of their famous songs, he is singing. Like in
he
Rooster.
sings harmonies.
Yeah. Well, like, I'll be broken by my master. That's him.
Yeah.
Like, that's him singing. That's like one of the most iconic parts of anyone.
Isn't that
songs.
Wood? Isn't that off the Singles soundtrack?
Oh man,
Speaking of a '90s movie,
See, damn.
it's so yeah, it's so
Singles, another great film.
like so. I always like so they kind of got away with like that's always weird. But I like a band that tours, or it's like I saw Journey a few years ago, and they're awesome. But the singer sounds just like
the new singer,
like Perry, Steve Perry, but it's not the same, you know. So I like a band that travels around, does that kind of thing. But, so yeah, 311's. But like when I think about, I don't even think about them as a '90s band because they kind of transcend for me. I think about Green Day. I think about No Doubt. I think about Spin Doctors. I think about
Wow.
Rage. I think about
Do you ever think
the Toadies.
You think ska?
Silverchair.
Remember ska?
Oh,
Yeah, ska was
God, yeah.
awesome.
Because ska kind of
Bosstones, The
exploded.
Urge. Like there was like great ska bands.
I'm just gonna throw
Goldfinger.
3 words
Goldfinger.
out. Squirrel Nut Zipper.
Yeah, the Squirrel
Do
Nuts
you remember
Zippers,
that band?
That one record with Hell on it.
Yeah, that's it.
That
That's
was
all
one of the
they had.
last tapes I ever bought before I started buying CDs.
wow. You know who just put out a new record? Rancid.
Yeah, Rancid's awesome,
Right?
dude. And Out Come the Wolves is like such an
that's
awesome
album. Yeah,
record.
that album is awesome.
Yeah, that's with like Time Bomb, Ruby Soho, Roots Radical. Really, really good songs. So there's like a lot of great. That it's just so dense with awesome music.
Well, let's not skip over Faith No More.
Oh, Faith No More, of course. Again, a band that started in the '80s, but really didn't come to prominence until
Yeah,
90, 91.
The real thing was like 89.
89. Yeah,
But then Angel Dust was 91.
which is their best record.
Yeah.
Um,
One of my favorite
It's crazy that
records
you're
of all time.
naming a lot of groups and a lot of types of music that I just skipped over completely. Like it just, I think I
'cause
was
you were
too
in the- you
young
liked
at
rap,
that to like get
hip-hop.
that. Well, yeah, but at that point I didn't like rap and hip hop. So
What
to
were you
me,
in? You like
90s
Goo Goo
music
Dolls?
is two very different things: boy bands and then hip hop. But the
See,
hip hop
then-
is mainly me going back in
Yeah.
the 2000s, going back to the 90s. Because
What's the greatest boy band to come out of the 90s?
NSYNC. There's no
I mean, that's
question.
the one that gave us Justin Timberlake, right?
Yeah,
JT. Yeah, he has staying power.
yeah. But yeah, the 90s was the years of the boy band.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they're still
Britney
kind of
Spears and
around,
all
but
that
they're
stuff.
all like
It's a
we
different-
still
now
have
they're
One
foreign
Direction
boy
now.
bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they just
Like
wear a lot of
this.
scarves. There's always
A
wearing
lot of
scarves.
scarves?
Like every time I see a picture of a boy band, if it's more than 4 people, 3 of them have scarves. And
Scarves are a thing.
They're like flowy. They're not. But they're in LA. Like you don't need a scarf in LA. Your back of your neck's gonna sweat the entire
I don't
time
think you
down.
can ever look at a boy band and they don't need anything ever.
Like the guy from NSYNC didn't need the laces in his hair.
Yeah.
What was his name? Chris.
Chris Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, he was a badass.
What about Spice Girls? Were they?
Yes.
Yeah, they were nice.
Yeah, so Spice Girls,
Oh, I loved
NSYNC,
them.
Backstreet Boys,
Degrees. When I
O-Town,
was a kid.
98 Degrees. Yeah, Nick Lachey.
Yeah, 90 Degrees is like the forgotten. Well, not even because there were really obscure boy bands that had like one hit.
Yeah,
but
98 Degrees, I'd
but
say they're
they're
like
third.
the B tier.
Yeah,
I'd say.
They're leaders
They're
of
not
the
that
B tier.
low.
Well, what about New Kids on the Block? Is that more 80s?
That's
80s,
That's
yeah.
80s, but
Going
they
to the 90s?
existed
Some
in the 90s.
crossover
Yeah,
into the
but,
early 90s.
but I would consider them more like 88, 89 when they
Because
were
then
really
now
prominent.
they're doing the cruises, New Kids on the Backstreet Boys, where it's them and Backstreet Boys doing a
like
joint.
on like a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
They
the
do
new thing.
joint
That all
concerts.
these bands are doing. 311 does it. Bare Naked Ladies, like all these random bands are like doing cruises like that are for their fans. They must make a ton of money.
Do you know
Okay,
there's
yeah,
a
they do.
there's a Kid Rock cruise every year?
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, I believe
Which
it.
is like thousands of rednecks on this cruise ship for a long weekend.
My old hockey coach.
How
used to-
crazy would
My
that
old
weekend
hockey
be?
coach used to love Kid Rock.
Who
Like,
did?
God.
My old hockey coach in high school. He was like in his 20s. He's an awesome guy. And like he's just.
My
Used to
name
fucking
is-
love Kid Rock. Like he's like I still that's like it's still one of the things I remember most. About
Okay,
him. I
let's
just loved
stop.
it.
Let's stop for a second.
Okay.
We all loved Kid Rock when he came out.
That first.
I
that
was never
first,
I was never
I
a
do.
fan, but
I
don't have
never
anything
bought
against
that
it.
stuff, but that first record was pretty good. I knew some people that had that record.
What was he? Was he in another band first, or like how did he become
really
become
remember.
famous? Was he just always just Kid
don't
Rock?
The only
No.
thing, the only thing I remember from
no
about
idea.
him was that he had the little guy in his band
Yeah.
like, that died, and also Uncle Cracker was his DJ, who then
My
spun
God.
off and did his own thing. That's the only thing I remember about Kid Rock, and like a few of his songs. I wasn't really into it, which was weird because he was kind of like rap rock, and I just wasn't really.
You're a big rap rock.
And I wasn't. I just wasn't into it. I wasn't
Yeah,
into it.
the '90s was Rage. It was Rage Against the
Oh,
Machine.
Rage
yeah.
was so good, dude. I didn't even know.
That was just like
It's so hard for people to believe. Like I was so into Rage, which is like hyper liberal, like socialist, like messages, and I loved
yeah.
it. And I still listen to it today, and I'm like, man, they're so smart. You know, Tom Morello went to Harvard and stuff, so it's like they're smart guys. But I used to wear like Rage shirts with like really provocative messages on them. I remember there was one shirt with like a nuns holding machine guns that I had or whatever. And I was like, what are you wearing?
There's no equivalent today There's no like hyper political band like Rage Against the Machine.
None that sell it, you know.
Yeah,
none that
none that are like
rage
being
you-
played on Top 40's radio.
Yeah, no, or
listened to
none.
Zach, and he was just like screaming
Yeah.
stuff, and you were like, I believe that this guy believes what he's talking about.
Well, I feel like Lupe Fiasco is like the closest thing to that now. Like he's super.
Is he? I guess I'm not familiar.
Yeah. No, he like, I can't believe he got away with some of the shit he says on the radio and stuff, and like it's popular music, and he just kind of says shit just to like start shit. So it's like fuck that. But I mean, it is super ridiculously political in a way that reminds me of Rage Against the Machine. It's just he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, me and my Ramon,
What am I?
my best friend from college, and I used to joke around that the FBI would always be in the crowd at Rage Against the Machine shows with like a folder, just like writing things down. Like,
Probably.
because they're just like because these guys were like pretty militant, but they were awesome. But yeah, I don't know.
You gotta
man.
go a little earlier too. You guys are forgetting like a huge portion of.
So you're talking about like grunge.
Yeah.
Oh,
When
sure,
you
yeah.
think 90s, you got to think grunge. You got to think Pearl Jam. You got to think Nirvana. You've got to think, I guess, Soundgarden. I guess
So
fits
Soundgarden,
into
who are
the
just
grunge
putting out a
category.
new album soon, I think, and then Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh, STP.
STP.
STP's fucking awesome.
They're really
dude.
good, right?
The Purple and Core
Yeah,
are really
yeah.
good records.
Especially
I like Purple.
Purple,
I like
especially
I like
Purple.
Purple more. A lot of people like Core more, but
Do you like the hidden track, the last hidden
Yeah.
track on Purple? It's so good.
there's a special band. I was so happy I got to see them. That was like one of the
I've
bands
never
where I
seen
didn't
them.
think it was like similar with Faith No More when I got to see them. Like it was a band where I was like I thought I might have missed my chance, and then
Was Faith No More the band? What is
Yeah.
this?
What is it?
What is it? Yeah.
yeah, they're a San Francisco band too, and I saw them at
years
the
ago.
Warfield a couple years ago. Cheryl's not even into them, and I brought her with me, and she was like, "That was amazing," because it was just they opened with From Out of Nowhere and just like fucking punched you in the face, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." They're all old. They're like
Yeah.
in their late 40s, and they're still like the bassist who like plays all slap and like crazy. He's all bald now, and he's just like headbanging and like going nuts. I'm like,
Oh
this is-
God, yeah. And then there was you got the Chili Peppers too.
The Chili Peppers, yeah.
Huge in
Excellent.
the 90s. They
Excellent
started
band.
technically in the 80s though, right?
Yeah, Mother's
They're
Milk
another one of
and
those
all
80s band that kind
but
of
it
made
was
it in.
it was
They're
Blood Sugar
90s
Sex
though.
Magic that blew up.
Yeah, so that was like 91.
Under the Bridge.
Yeah.
God, that was so good, man. That was just like, that just makes me think of Point Break, which makes you think of fucking P. Swayze. Oh, 90s were a good
Dude,
time.
yeah.
It makes you think of Point Break because they have bit parts in it.
Yeah, Anthony Kiedis in it.
He blows his foot off.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they did a weird. I mean, and Fleas and Lebowski,
Weird
which is so
stuff.
weird. There's all these like weird.
is that?
There's
We
all these like.
nihilists.
How does that happen?
They just have good agents that are like, "Your Chili
Like,
Peppers, you want to go in?"
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Your Chili Peppers. You
I
want
mean, it's
it?
just like who? I mean, if you're doing a movie in the '90s and like they're like, "Do you want Anthony Kiedis to be in your movie for like a bit part?" Sure, why
Fuck
not?
yeah.
That's
It's like there are all
hilarious.
these random movies where Henry Rollins has
Yeah,
a
yeah.
part.
Henry Rollins,
But it's
like-
random. It's like
He was in a lot. He was in like Johnny Mnemonic. You're like, what are you doing, Henry Rollins? He's like, because he's super political.
Yeah.
He would just be like, have one part where he'd talk about how the machines are taking over. It's corporate America, and then he'd like kill someone. You're like, that's cool. Thanks, Henry Rollins.
he's also a terrible neo-Nazi in Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, is he?
I haven't gotten through.
I haven't
that
seen
one.
that show yet. I haven't
I've
that
watched
one
it.
yet.
Greg loves that show. So I'm thinking about the mid '90s, and what I'm thinking about with the mid '90s is there's some great bands like Presidents of the United States and whatever that came and kind of went. I think the mid '90s is also emblematic of the rise of the band fronted by women. So Luscious Jackson, Garbage. No Doubt, Hole. There's like a ton of bands, and also the singer songwriters. So like Natalie Cole, Alanis Morissette,
Jewel.
Jewel.
Oh,
like
man.
so, there's
Yeah.
like
Jewel.
there's like a lot of good stuff in the mid '90s coming from women.
Tori Amos.
Oh,
Tori Amos,
Big
Lisa
fan.
Loeb,
Sheryl Crow.
Sheryl Crow. There's a lot of them.
Destiny's fucking Child.
Oh,
A
come
little
on
later,
now.
right? I mean, they rose in
Yeah.
'96 or so, but what was it, like 98 or 99 was when anyone really gave a fuck.
It was
Yeah.
like Bootylicious was out.
Yeah.
Was
yeah.
TLC?
TLC was a little earlier, so that was
Was
like
that
in their
90s?
early mid '90s.
Oh God, man. So good.
Salt and Pepper.
Oh, Salt
Well,
and
that's-
Pepper is the
I mean,
latest.
yeah. Push It was that's the like mid '80s song.
But Want a Man, I think, was like
Yeah, that was
maybe
it.
early '90s.
Yeah, I mean, I
Or-
feel like they came back.
Let's Talk About Sex. Yeah. That one too.
It's just progressive.
And then I agree with like the late '90s. That's when we got into. So there was like a weird thing in the late '90s. You had like really weird shit like Orgy and Marilyn Manson and all that kind of stuff. Then you had
Well, there was a big like electronica
right.
explosion
Right.
in the late '90s with like you mentioned Orgy, but there's also like Fatboy Slim.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Chemical Brothers and
Prodigy.
Yeah, all those guys.
Oh, Prodigy
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah, Fat of the
man.
Land. Now that was a great record. That was one of the first CDs I ever bought, and that was an awesome.
I'm your fire starter.
Yeah.
Twisted
Remember how
fire
big
starter.
that Moby album was?
Oh,
Yeah,
Moby was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moby still does stuff, right?
Sure. Yeah, he's still.
Your movie does a lot of like movie soundtracks and stuff
Yeah.
now.
He's like all the
a
Bourne
businessman.
movies. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, spin that shit. It's good.
Fucking dope.
Good job, Moby.
But yeah, rap, man.
Yeah,
I think
rap.
rap
Wait,
is
take
what it
a-
all comes back to because
Take it one step back for a second. We're going to talk rap in a 2nd I know you've been itching to talk about this. Just did want to give a shout out to No Doubt. Gwen Stefani back in the day. Still hot.
Yeah.
Unbelievably good looking back in
Yeah,
the
she
90s.
was
Dude, she
awesome.
looks the same today.
does.
Yeah,
she
she's
looks
on the-
like
she looks
She looks
identical.
exactly the
She's
same.
on The
She's
Voice
in her
now.
40s.
She's the female Keanu Reeves. He
She's in
never
her
ages
40s.
either.
She looks amazing.
Yeah, she's
Like
absolutely.
2
she
kids
absolutely
later.
is
Did you guys
amazing.
see her on the Jimmy Fallon lip sync battle thing?
No, did she do one of those?
Yeah,
I gotta
it was
watch
the
that too.
worst.
Was it?
The worst.
See, I don't know that she has like a sense of humor or much of a personality.
No, I mean,
She's
she
just
does.
really
She
good.
does. Like, she's great, but it's just like I think
She's
that
just smoking hot.
she just didn't. She wasn't able to do someone else's thing that well. It was weird. It was really weird. I expected it to
Like
be.
she's not like an
extremely good.
actress. Like the people that do well, those are actors.
Emma Stone. Emma
right?
Stone
Yeah.
is the best.
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
far.
And just before we talk about hip hop, because I think we should close on hip hop because it is essential. It really is integral. Just want to give 2 shout outs real quick to bands that a lot of people don't really think about that I really loved in the 90s. One is Bare Naked Ladies. Before Stunt came out, before 1 week, they were really, really, really awesome. They were a great band. I saw them a bunch of times live with my sister. They were one of the first bands I ever saw live. Albums like Gordon and Born on a Pirate Ship are excellent albums still to this day, and people should go check those out. The other band is Ben Folds 5.
Oh yeah,
Which is essential
they were awesome.
piano rock.
I think that's for you.
If you're not going to eat this apple pie soon, please offer it to your friends tonight. Cheryl made homemade apple pie on Sunday.
okay, sure. We'll have a slice. Thanks.
So that might have sounded a little weird. So no,
Not for this show.
okay, no, that's true. Ben Folds 5, awesome too. Self-titled album, Whatever Never Amen, and Reinhold Messner, awesome fucking album.
Sadly,
Really
I
nice.
always got them confused with 3 Doors Down, which was like.
3 Doors Down's fine too, but different band.
Very similar sound.
Yeah, very.
I was like, who's what? Ben Folds what? What is he doing? 5 of them?
So that's it. Let's talk about rap.
So
Baby.
I will argue till the day I die that rap is better now than it ever was. If you're looking in the right places, that's the thing. You got to be listening to the right people.
Yeah, this sounds like a very inflammatory
This is
statement. So
incendiary.
please explain
This
yourself.
I'm saying that.
incendiary right now, my friend.
But I will argue that. But if I'm arguing it, I'd be arguing it against people that are saying that early '90s rap is the best.
yeah.
I mean, that's what you're arguing?
No, people would be arguing me saying that.
Okay.
That's second to what's going on now. But what was going on then? We got Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
We got Tupac. We got Biggie. We got Jay-Z. We got Nas. We got Eminem. What? That's
Yeah, you got the whole Death Row, like.
yeah. We got all
phenomenon,
that stuff too.
You're forgetting a lot too.
No.
De La, The
You're
Far
missing
Side.
Dre.
You're
You're missing
forgetting
Snoop.
Public Enemy
Yeah.
and Beastie Boys.
But it's like, if you ask anyone who like top 5, they're gonna name at least 3 of those probably in their top 5.
Everyone's going to say Tupac.
That's insane.
I think Tupac was the most influential artist to come out of that period. Because he died. And that's
Oh, it's kind
See,
of.
my problem with
we made that
Tupac.
argument before.
The problem with Tupac is I feel like a lot of people are fake fans of Tupac. They say they like him, but they
I
don't
wasn't a
really.
fan. I wasn't
Like,
a fan at all.
It's one of those
Still
things.
not.
It's like, oh, what are your like? Name 3 songs, and they're just like, Changes, Dear Mama, and they just can't. That's. Have you noticed that?
I couldn't name 3 Tupac songs. I could if I heard Tupac songs, I'd be like, oh yeah, I
you
remember
recognize
that. I was not a huge
Oh yeah, he's
fan
very
of it.
recognizable.
But I mean, again, I've gone back and said that hip hop was not my thing until later, and there's only select things that I like about hip hop that I'm now gaining exposure to 90s hip hop. Going, oh god, man, I wasted my life back then. When was Eazy-E? Was he
90s.
like? Is
NWA.
he started in
Like-
the 80s?
NWA was
Was that 80s? I wanna say it was
late 80s.
wasn't it?
I count them as 90s though. Like they really did shit in the early 90s.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
'Cause I
I
always
guess
got-
here's
I
what I
always
think.
got
Like
them-
even like to me, 88 on counts as 90s. It's like 88 to 98.
No, that's 80s. I always got NWA and 2 Live Crew mixed up for some reason.
No, the reason that I don't count the 90s starting at like 88
Two
or
Live Crew was
89
Me
is
So
'cause
Horny.
Yeah, I know.
Those were awesome
That's not-
80s years for other reasons. We can do another topic about hair metal one day because I can talk about hair metal all fucking day because it's fucking awesome.
It is awesome.
You want to talk shit about
Dude,
Rat?
Poison?
Don't even.
Motley Crue? Or is that too mainstream?
No, that's awesome. I love even like I always say and I always joke around. Enough's Enough is still like one of my favorite hair metal bands because like no one even knows who the fuck they are. Like,
Like, what song do they do?
New Thing. You can look at that. Enough's
I'm
Enough.
sure I'd recognize
Oh,
that.
you would. It's awesome.
I told you I went on a date one time with a girl. She took me to this concert down in Irvine, the
Enough's
Verizon
Enough?
Amphitheater. No, it was Poison Rat.
Yeah, my
Poison
brother
Rat.
went on that tour.
it was
like
so
He
ridiculous.
saw him in like Hartford or something. I was like, that's awesome. He's like, I'm seeing Rat and Poison.
Yeah,
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
yeah.
Oh my god, I
think-
lose my mind if I saw Rat live. I love those guys.
It's pretty amazing.
They're so awesome.
They're old.
Um,
Sadly.
now, Yeah, 90s hip hop's awesome. I think that
I just haven't heard the argument for why it's better now.
Well, I'm saying if you go to the right places, I'm not saying that mainstream rap is better.
Places?
Actually, that's the other thing though, is I feel like there are a lot of good mainstream artists on the radio now, even compared to back then. Because back then, it's not like we were getting a lot of these people on the radio. You know, like that. You still had to that was all word of mouth shit, and like De La wasn't playing on the radio.
No, by us they were, but I don't think any. Yeah, I agree with you. Like they had a few tracks on the radio that were pretty big, but no, they maintained through word of mouth and also geographic loyalty. I think because I think that's the same way I like Biggie when I was a kid over Tupac. I was like, well,
He's East Coast.
he's East Coast, and I'm from the East Coast. I mean, I even identified that when I was like 10 years old. You know, I was like playing with G.I. Joes, where I've been like, yeah, I'm a Biggie guy.
But for my thing is that I feel like that because of the internet and because of just the fact that tools have gotten easier to use for everybody, the people that grew up on the 90s stuff, which was the good stuff, because before that it wasn't that good. It was just like a bunch of nursery rhyme bullshit. Majority.
No, I agree with that. I think 80s rap is really important for the genome of rap, but I agree with you. Like I can't go back and listen to a lot of that shit except for the Beastie Boys. And some select other things, but most of it is very
So then I feel like then the 90s kind of made it a real thing and got really good in certain places. There was also a lot of really bad 90s rap too. And then the 2000s was just it went to fucking hell. And it was so bad. But then now I feel like it's the people that learned from the 90s, wanted to correct the 2000s, and they're allowed to just keep doing their own thing, and they don't need it to perform on the radio stuff, because who gives a shit about the radio when they have the internet?
Yeah,
so
sure.
There is some great hip hop today. I love Currency. I love Wiz Khalifa. I love there's a lot of guys that I really love that are awesome. But if I had to choose, we had to go on a desert island or whatever scenario, and I was like, I can bring 10 albums with me, 10 rap albums. I might bring one or two from today. I'd probably bring Bun B's trilogy. I'd probably bring Currency's The Stone Immaculate. But everything else would probably bring me back to the 90s. You got to bring De La Soul, Balloon Mind State. You got to bring De La Soul. Stakes is High. You got to bring Wu-Tang's 36 Chambers. You got to bring. I mean, there's. Oh, God, it's overwhelming. I would even, but I love Eminem. I'd probably even bring Eminem's first two records. I'd bring, so it's the good news is that it's all good. And everywhere you are, there's good stuff. I think rock has fallen significantly, much further than I think rap has fallen. I'll give you that.
Yeah. See, my thing with the rap is anybody that's arguing with that shit, I'd say listen to any album by the group Cunning Linguist and tell me that isn't leaps and bounds better than that shit.
Yeah, I think the only problem I have is I don't know. Everything just maybe because it is so easy. It's hard to separate the good from the bad because there's so much more of it now that we're getting inundated by. So I don't disagree that there's probably a lot of good sound out there, but it's hard to get to because
that's all I'm saying.
So much of it.
Yeah, there is. You need to know where to get it.
Back in the day, in the mid '90s, if you were popular, it's because you had hit such a level that no one could touch you, and as long as you kept putting out something good, you were going to stay on top for a while.
But even then, back then you had to have the single. Eminem couldn't do it without My Name Is
on MTV.
Yeah,
I guess that's true.
So
the one thing I'll say, and I won't play it for too long, I'll play it for only a few seconds, is that the one thing I always tell Cheryl this, the one thing that early and mid 90s hip hop does to me is it makes me very nostalgic. I feel like it sounds a lot of it very nostalgic, and I'm not even talking about the gangster rap. I'm talking more about the laid back kind of De La Soul-ish kind of rap, the more.
Well, I think that's because of the samples. The early 90s was so sample heavy, and a lot of it was the record, so you hear the little record.
Well, they were sampling
shit.
funk and soul stuff from the 70s. So.
But this song specifically does it for me, and I want people to listen to the whole thing, just the beginning of it.
You're gonna get a copyright flag.
Yeah, we'll do it real quick. Because it's only a few seconds. Oh wait, I gotta. Hold on a sec. Wrong volume. Ringer volume. Good. Okay.
Yep.
Just that laid back.
Yeah, it was you're talking about to me that
they do. They totally do make them like this.
No.
Do you know Run the Jewels?
Who?
Run the Jewels?
No.
Check it out.
Okay.
Oh, that was a good topic. Yes, I enjoyed that topic very much. I love music. Very much.
For the longest time, I thought the '90s had sucked. But now that I look back at everything,
you start unpacking it.
The '90s were awesome. Total Recall came out in the '90s.
Oh, it did?
Yeah. 91. So did T2.
Yeah, T2
did. So
it's a very eclectic. It's a very eclectic decade. It's a decade that we hold close to our hearts because we all grew up in that decade. But it's also a very formidable decade in terms of everything: movies, music, books, video games, everything. It's a really special decade. It's not as special as the 80s, but it's special. It's
I
very
think,
special.
yeah, for me, like, you know, coming from cinema, like you're talking about, movies, I think one could argue that get better as you go backward in time. Because now we're sort of like,
What?
we've got amazing films now, but I'm not as excited about some of the stuff that's happening as I was 2 years ago. And then I will never be as excited about a movie as I was when I was like 9. Right? Maybe that's just because I was 9. But in the 80s also, you were seeing new stuff all the time. Like Jurassic Park blew my mind. I'm like, that is a dinosaur. They got a dinosaur. They grew it up. They fed it humans. And then they trained it. Steven Spielberg trained a dinosaur to be on camera.
The beauty of Jurassic Park, by the way, and we won't. This is a tangent. It's just like that movie still looks fucking awesome.
It looks good.
And it's because they didn't overthink it. It's like all real. You know what I mean? It's not
Clever
like
guy.
it's obviously not a real dinosaur, but it's just like Spielberg and those guys like understood posterity that like the movie would look better if they didn't fuck around too much.
Yeah,
you know?
when Laura Dern's leaning up on the Triceratops, right? Like it's not like it's not CGI.
No, it's a real thing.
It's very cool. Very like really wonderful looking movie. So yeah, that was a good topic.
Good topic.
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you.
Thanks, Colin. Good topic.
Tim,
Yes.
you're batting cleanup. You're last today. What is your topic?
What is love?
What is love?
Baby, don't hurt me.
Speaking of the 90s.
It's a deep question.
It is
Yeah.
a really deep question.
That's existential. Thanks for saving that for the last.
Let's unpack it.
All right, everybody, put the suitcase down. It's time
So I
to
think the
unpack.
easy thing to answer is
we need to do
love is
another
a
podcast
feeling.
called Unpack with Colin and Nick.
My
All right,
God.
everyone, let's unpack this.
You think love is a feeling?
Love is a feeling.
It's an emotion. It's a basic human
Yes.
emotion.
Okay.
I think that like because it's hard to say. It's similar questions. What is art? And those are the like I think the two things that you're like. You don't
what is
really
art
have
is
an answer.
subjective, but is what love is subjective?
I think it is.
I don't think so. I think what people choose to love is subjective, but I think the way people love, the general feeling, is probably pretty similar from human being to human. If I love something, if I love my wife, and you love your girlfriend, those feelings that we have are probably pretty similar between the way we both do it. I'm not talking about the love of material things, like I love my car, I love my hat, or something like that.
I love that PS4.
That's more of
PS4. I'll tell you what.
that's more of like a physical sort of like you're bonded to something because you interact with it and things like that. But I think on a very base level, it's a chemical sort of reaction, and then eventually turns into a life like a long lasting bond between two things or two people.
Well, so is the love between people different than like the love of things? Even if it's not a material thing, just like your
Or
love
is
for.
it just amplified?
I think it's.
Is it?
I mean, I would say it's probably
Well,
amplified due to the sexual.
I mean, like, do you love your girlfriend as much as a thing that you love?
don't ask Tim that question.
Yeah. I don't
Tim
know.
puts all things on the same level. He's
Yeah,
like, I like
I
this
like-
Coke better than I like my.
I love Coke.
It's good. I think that there's obviously, I think the love you feel for another human being is a little bit more amplified, like you're saying, just because it is. There's a lot of other emotions that go into loving someone who you have a physical interest in. You know, if it's a sexual interest or if you have a relationship, you're going to have. There's a lot of physical contact with them. You just don't get. Well, some people do maybe, but out of like a car or a gun or something cool like that, or a PS4, where you're like, it's more complex, I think, with human beings. But yeah, I think at a base level, you see something you like and you want it and you obsess about it, and then it goes from there.
It's tough. That's a good question. It's a good question.
Oh, can I try that?
Yeah.
No, I can't do it. I can't do it because you breathe in with like your mouth's open, but you're breathing in through the nose. It's tough. It's a tough question. I just I can't do it.
It's a hard question. Love for me has evolved in terms of relationships, but the love of a parent or the love of a sibling or the love of a friend seems to kind of stay the same. I think love is many different kinds of things. It's definitely an evolution of a core companionship that I think animals have. For instance, like presumably, like aren't there certain animals like dolphins or whales or whatever that have like partners, some birds and stuff that have like partners for life? That's like kind of where it comes from. Like they do love that other thing, that other bird, that other pelican, whatever the hell it is, but like they don't
Pelican.
they don't look at it.
Pelican love's
They're
a
not
good love.
self-aware, so they
Great
don't.
line.
Love requires a
They never think
self-awareness.
I'm in love.
Right, exactly. They're just like, well, I'm ride or die for this pelican.
Yeah, this pelican is my homie.
And but I think that in terms of being in love, like in love with a girl or a guy, is like that's evolved for me very much. Like, every time I think I know what it means, I actually don't know what it means. I think now, been with Cheryl for like 6 years. It's like that to me is like a love so much more profound than the in love I was with my girlfriend in college, for instance, when I genuinely was in love with her. But it's not the same as the love I feel now. So I think that love isn't necessarily defined, because I think in that sense it seems to evolve. Then again, like, what is the difference between loving someone and being in love with someone? Like, I'm in love with my girlfriend, would die for my girlfriend, absolutely, she's a great person, like my partner and stuff, but like, I also love my parents in a very deep and profound way. I'm not in love with them, but I love them.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what is the difference between that kind of love? Because I'd also maybe die for my parents, you know? Like,
Yeah, that's-
you know, it's
that's
like it's
yeah.
a weird kind of, it is, I think it is nebulous. I think you're right. I think that it's not defined. I don't know. I think it's different for a lot of different people.
So, can you love things?
Yes.
Like, is love still the right word to be
Yeah.
used?
I think
then?
you can love things. I love football.
Yeah.
You know, like, I love cheeseburgers. You know, like,
'Cause I get what you're
it's
saying
like-
though. The like, you love family and the in love relationship. Then there's a third love that's for video games or stuff like that.
Maybe we use it too
Or
much.
is there just Do you just
I think
strongly
what-
like things?
I think it's a very similar feeling. I don't think I'm not afraid to say that you can love different things different ways, and but it's the same baseline feeling. It is different though, being in love versus loving something, because I'm in love with my wife, but I also love her more deeply than I have ever had today. You know, like, when you commit to someone and you're with that person and you're saying that we're going to give this a go and try to be together forever, that takes on a very profound meaning and a very, very, on a very deep level. It's crazy to think that, like, there's just no doubt you're just going to be there for that person. That's just the way it's going to go, because you love each other, not because you're in love with each other, but because you love and respect each other and want to be there for each other.
But what is that?
It's love.
Like, what is that?
Love.
I just feel like that's kind of just like
Well, I think at first,
not really answering.
No,
it,
but
though.
they say at first that all love starts with sort of lust, right? So those deep feelings, those crazy feelings you felt in college, aren't necessarily what is like a traditional love. It's more of a sort of lustful sort of passion that you're caught up in, and then once those feelings subside, that's when you can start angling over to the love stuff. I might be digging myself in the weeds here, but if I think like Colin, I think back to the college loves or the high school loves that I had, and it was like a flashbang, right? It just boom, and then it was over. And you're like, what was I even thinking? It was so easy to get over that person, or maybe it wasn't, but
But it
mostly
felt
because
real
they
at the
Yeah,
time.
it felt real at the time, but it doesn't feel like it does now,
Yeah.
where I have someone I've been with for 7 years, and she forgives me for things that she shouldn't, because I'm a complete idiot most of the time and annoying to her, because she wants to. That's love.
Would the dictionary definition help us at all?
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
Love, a profoundly tender, passionate affection for another person.
For another person.
Interesting.
Okay.
You do form tight bonds with material things, though.
I mean, so a second definition is a feeling of warm personal attachment or deep affection.
Yeah.
So like that could be to
Or other stuff.
This reminds me of what was the definition where it was like, and the like?
It was a hot dog. It was when we were talking about hot
sandwiches.
dogs.
We were looking
Sandwiches.
up the definition of sandwiches.
It's like meats
to define
and or like it was between two pieces of bread and the like, and you're like, I can't deal with this.
Yeah, like,
this
and
is-
the like. What does that mean? Can
What
it be a
does that
burrito? Yeah, it's. I think that there are just different kinds of love. I don't think that one's necessarily more profound than the other. For instance, I think that the love I feel for my girlfriend is equivalent to the love I feel for my family, but they're different kinds of love. But I think that they're pretty much on the same level.
Yeah.
Like the love I feel for hockey or football is below that, but I love it. Playing drums or bass, like playing video games, all the weird, history and all that kind of shit. Like that's a love, but that's lower. I think that there's a pyramid.
yeah.
But again, it's all about definition, because for instance, you were talking about like, I look back at some of the things I used to be upset about with people I thought I was in love with or really just liked when I was a kid. And I remember being like really upset over a girl in high school, like fucking profoundly upset. And I look back at that now and I was like, what did I care for? Like that's how you know that it's like not the love you thought it was.
Right.
Same thing with in college, how heartbroken I was when I broke up with that girl in college. And I look back and it was a very important learning lesson for me. And she was a great girl and we had a good time, but it was like, why was I so upset about it? So I think it evolves and becomes deeper and deeper actually as you get older, and maybe you refine it a little bit more. And also the love of friends. Like there are people, like there are people in this world like Ramon, where I love him so deeply that like, I offer to fly him out here. I offer to do like it's almost like you're willing to part with money or material things to make someone else happier. Like there's a lot of different kinds of definitions and checkboxes that I think you have to hit. That's a little weird that you might want not do for a normal acquaintance.
See, it's interesting to me because I feel like a lot of defining love is just saying, well, because I love this, I do this. But you're not really saying what the love is. You know, I'm not saying that about just you guys, but it's just like, I think that's what makes it so interesting is that it isn't anything. It's just, it's something that exists that makes you do other shit. And it's the reason for doing things.
Well, it's one of the probably the leading motivations for living. Right? I mean, it's like you can't overstate how powerful and important it is.
Power of love.
And how devastating it can be when you lose it.
Huey Lewis spoke about this.
Yes.
The great poet.
I mean, if we need to just listen to that song, he's the final word on this, really.
Yeah.
Oh, Huey Lewis is so good.
It's not Hadaway?
There's also who did Glory of Love?
Oh, not Bryan Adams.
No.
Peter Gabriel?
Yeah,
Yeah, Peter Gabriel.
No. It's not
No.
Peter Gabriel. Peter Cetera.
Peter Cetera.
yeah.
Chicago.
Like a knight in shining armor.
From a long time ago.
God,
You're gonna get a
True
copyright
story.
strike.
True story. Karate Kid 2 came on the other day. My wife's sitting on the couch reading a Cosmopolitan magazine. Might have been an Us Weekly. Sorry for the call out, babe. She does not listen to this show. She'll never know that. Karate Kid 2 comes on. She goes, turn it off. And I'm like, why? It's just
gonna
Karate
be
Kid
too
2. She goes,
sad.
is this the one with the song? And I was like, I know exactly the song you're talking about. Yes, this is the one with the song. She goes, how does it go again? I was like, well, you know, I am a man. She's like, stop talking. If I hear that song, I will start crying. It is so powerful to her. It brings back some weird nostalgic memory that I literally pulled up the lyrics on my phone and read them to her. And she started tearing up. And I started tearing up. And I was like, this is a fucking powerful song.
Yeah.
Turn it off and put it away. Only bring it out
So
when you
what's
have to.
that? What is that?
That's
That
just,
emotion
that's
there.
well, I mean, that's just I guess it's love. I guess.
Any emotion is hard to describe, I think. The things that make you sad or happy or elated or, you know, like,
That's more nostalgia, though, I think. Because
Yeah,
I mean, it was whatever the emotion it evokes, and that's why they said like true art evokes emotion. Like anytime you write anything or when you're trying to make a movie, you're trying to inevitably evoke emotion out of people.
So
That's
is
how you
love
can-
an emotion?
definitely?
Oh, definitely. I think it is.
So you can evoke love.
Yeah.
Things can evoke love.
Yes.
I think you can evoke feelings of love if you hear like a really thoughtful love song. I think it can go the opposite direction. Like the saddest song to me in the world, like the fucking saddest song, is Mike and the Mechanics in the Living Years. That
That's a
song
super
is
sad song.
fucking horrifying.
Wait, which one's that one?
It's the song about how like his dad died and he never got a chance to say that he was sorry and that he loved him or whatever.
Yeah.
And I can't. I don't even want to
All right,
sing it.
don't bastardize it.
It's an awesome song. It's a great song, but every time I hear it, I'm like, oh my god. You know, like Jesus Christ. You know, like
Yeah. Well, you know what? But
He
that's-
knew when he was in the studio recording that song, he was just going to destroy.
But that's the thing. So this is what happens, right? It's not a one-to-one connection. He's not singing to you. You're not falling in love with his words, or it's not making you think of love. What great art does, or what movies strive to do, is they try to connect you to something in your life that evokes that emotion, right? So when you see two people on screen who are legitimately have that connection and fall in love with each other, that is supposed to make you think of a love that you've had in your life and evoke that emotion that you had then. You're not necessarily connecting with those things, but like when I heard that Peter Cetera song, I remember the time of my life that was like the most innocent. It wasn't a love necessarily that I thought of at first. It was, hey, this was a time of my life when I was like young and I could eat whatever I wanted to, and I just watched movies all day long and I didn't give a shit about my future. It didn't matter. Then I turned over and noticed that it was having that same effect on my wife. That made me love her. That made me just think about how much I love my wife. Like we have those things in common. That is the strength of our relationship. I'm gonna send Peter Cetera a nice email after this. Like he doesn't get enough.
Hit him up on Twitter.
What up?
Yeah, what's he up to?
P. Cetera. He's probably just still
doesn't give a
rocking
fuck,
that
probably,
song.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that one song made him like set him up?
Well,
for,
he was in Chicago too, right? So it's like,
So
and he
sure.
wrote all those songs. So like, just the songwriting credits. That's what's so valuable when you sell a record. If you like the drummer in Chicago had nothing to do with writing any of those songs, maybe like he got his, you know, performance money and he might get a little bonus like when albums are sold. But the guys who wrote those songs are the guys who were fucking cleaning up.
That's why Queen is like insanely wealthy.
Hell
So
yeah.
all of them wrote songs.
Yeah, it wasn't
Crazy.
just Freddie. Yeah, it's an interesting question. It's a profound question.
Mm-hmm.
Now, usually, Tim,
It's a Tim topic.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say usually,
Classic
Tim topic.
usually you bring up things that are a little more
Yeah.
visceral.
On
Next
the
week
nose.
is going to be what is sex?
That's an easy one.
That's a definition we can.
Is it an
define.
emotion?
No,
Is it
No.
a feeling?
it's more of a smell, as they say. I think we talked about that already.
Oh, that was a good topic and a good episode, guys. We did okay without Greg
I
today.
had fun.
Yeah.
I had fun.
It wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect.
Something felt Like we were just missing Craig.
Yeah, it was a little vacant. It was a little empty. But we had our friend Daemon here.
Yes. That was
So
nice.
Daemon, thank you for joining
You
us.
know,
I hope you
I had a good time.
I'm not used to it, Damon. You're very welcome here on the show. Thank you for coming.
Always
And
happy.
always
happy to
Normally,
join.
the person that sits in that chair at least once,
really
if not
loud.
15 times an
Burps.
episode. No, he looks over at me and just shakes his head. I'll try to say something, and he just doesn't even pay me the courtesy of like a courtesy laugh. He just goes. You know that thing he does?
do that.
Yeah, it's the worst. So thank you for not doing that to me. You may have felt it, but you didn't let on that you did. I appreciate
No,
that.
he would never do that. Daemon, thank you for joining us. And of course, thank you out there for coming to listen to the GameOverGreggy show or watching it if you're on YouTube, of course. You can find us here on youtube.com/kindafunny. If you want the audio, you can go download that at Bandcamp. You can even find the video at Vimeo. You can support us on Patreon. Kindafunny.com has everything you need if you want to buy merch and all that kind of stuff. We appreciate that. We have the Team Fat shirt. We have the Moriarty Miller and Scarpino Gettys shirts.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good. It's
Yes.
very good. Everything's
Great.
very good.
It's a good time to
Everything's
be
fine.
alive.
It is.
ladies
It's a
and
great time
gentlemen.
to be alive.
It's a great time.
And I don't think it's gonna be any better than this right
You're not
now.
worried about Ebola? You think that everything's going to be fine?
I'm a little worried about
That's
it.
a bit. We might have to do that topic at
Yeah.
some point because I keep getting tweets about that. A lot of people want to hear our thoughts on it.
You got it.
Well, we can get into that later. I was terrified of it over the week. My wife's like, it's not going to happen. We were totally pulled out. We're all going to die.
I was in Texas over the weekend.
Yeah.
And people are freaking the fuck out over there.
Well,
about this shit.
it was actually
Yeah.
there, so
Yeah.
I don't.
It's
blame him.
crazy. I thought I had it yesterday because I was feeling sick. I'm like, I have Ebola.
I would. God.
Tim
I'm
Gettys has
conflicted on
Ebola.
that. I'm
Tim Gettys
conflicted
has
on that because
Ebola.
here's the thing about that. And this is going to sound super insensitive, so I'm going to try to tread as lightly as humanly possible on this. If you had that, I know you'd try to find a way to capitalize off of having
Of
Ebola,
course.
and it would be a ridiculous train wreck to watch that happen.
It'd be great. There'd be so many YouTube videos, probably a rap video.
Yeah, an Ebola rat video. We'll save that for another time. Jesus.
All right, you can follow us on Twitter. Nick is Nick_Scarpino.
There he is.
Don't tweet at Nick Scarpino without the underscore. He doesn't like it.
He does.
He's
not
okay
like
with it?
He's okay. I mean, he's a cool guy.
Okay, he's a nice.
But
Maybe we'll have him on the show one day.
I think he wants to get his own followers. I don't think he wants mine.
I understand. Damon is Damezero. DAEMZERO. Tim is Tim Gettys. TIMGETTYS. I am no taxation on Twitter, and you can follow Kinda Funny at Kinda Funny Vids. Don't follow Kinda Funny. That's not us. Kinda Funny Vids is what you want to follow.
Yes.
We'll be back in another week for more of the Game Over Greggy show with Greg Miller, Game Over Greggy himself. Until next time, we'll see you later.